Hey everybody, I'm going to follow up on this later in this Sunday, but I want to get this out right now because this is, to say the least, strange. And I think that's the best way to put it. First of all, I'm going to read to you what I wrote in my text and, quite simply just, go from there, as they say. I'm still trying to process, what occurred and everything and sort it out. And the best way to do that is to, well, just share with you right off the bat what happened. Here goes, okay. I'm reading from the text that I prepared here. Hey, Richard, how you doing? It reads, the latest news surrounding the Oakland Raiders Las Vegas Stadium is as real as it is unbelievable. First, I'm going to center this a little bit more. Bear with me, folks. Yeah, there we go. Okay, awesome. Okay, that's much better. All right. First, it starts with a story that comes from them, Richard and Joy Lightower, to me, and is strange. And then it gets weirder. Okay. According to Richard and Joy Lightower, also known as Jedi Rich and Jedi Joy, construction workers at Las Vegas Stadium have told them directly that 1/3 of the canopy trusses that were already placed in their areas of the structure are done so with elements in them upside down. Now I'm quoting them, okay? Richard and Joy Lightower said a text about a half hour ago to the point of that writing about 12:36 a.m. It was really Jedi Rich that did it, Richard. They are working on their own video, they say, but gave me the go-ahead, or at least Richard did, listen to this, okay, to post the information early. And this is the full text that I was sent from Richard. It reads like this, okay? 1/3 of the trusses are built with pieces that were installed upside down. We got this straight from the iron workers. Then, since the pieces were installed upside down, they ended up being off. When they got to the one truss, it was off by 8 inches. This is what he is writing. Now the entire design is flawed. They are scrounging to fix the error. They have guys days and night trying to reassemble the trusses together, probably. They're beyond off schedule. This is potentially a deal ender, he writes. We will see what solutions they come out to the public with. Feel free to post any of this on your blog now. That's what this text writes, and I quote, listen to this, okay? Feel free to post any of this on your blog now. Got that? Okay. The news is going out, video still to come. Okay, fine. As to the full story, this is me now talking, okay? As to the full story, the canopy trusses are designed to be the support for ethylene terephthalene, or EFTE roof. At the time of this writing, an estimated 18 of the 26 canopies were in place. But there were problems. First, with one truss that was installed incorrectly and had to be removed and then replaced on Sunday, Father's Day of last week. As it turned out, again, according to Richard and Joy Lightower, who, are in Las Vegas, close to doing, I thought, good video blog work. The workers were tasked not only to replace the truss that was installed incorrectly, but because the other truss segments were put in place with pieces that were installed upside down, and I'm quoting what Richard and Joy Lightower said in the text to me, all right? That error resulted in the truss that was put in, but then taken down 2 weeks ago now, and then reinstalled back in place. The Las Vegas bloggers, Richard and Joy Lightower, also just explained that the workers were tasked with trying to correct the error, allegedly outside of the knowledge of the public. That's explosive, okay? That is explosive. You have to be really careful when you make that claim, all right? So just as I'm writing this, that I'm reading to you, and I'm taking them seriously, okay? The whole text message changes. The whole tenor of it changes. I mean, get this. Because what happened was I typed, say, very innocently, I said, where'd you get the information? Excuse me, not where, because they already told me, but when. In other words, what date? And the answer I got back was they said July or 14th, or rather June 14th. I'm sorry, not July, but June 14th. And so I asked why they sat on the information for so long, since this is June 22nd. And what I got back was shocking. And I'm still thinking, what? What it was written was, it was as if I was texting two different people with completely different agendas. What I got back was this. Zenny, and I'm reading this clearly, Zenny, it's my story. I break it when I want. Do you understand? Huh? I'm, I'm not even thinking that. I'm thinking like maybe they had, this is what I was thinking. I'm thinking, okay, when you hesitate, like for example, Rick Del Vecchio, the Chronicle, used to do this when he was writing. This is a long time ago, back in the 80s. If he had a story, he was actually working his sources to try to verify what he was told, right? So maybe one particular source didn't come through, okay? Maybe some information that he needed wasn't available at the time, and so he wanted to hold the story until he got it. So I had very sound reasons for asking that question, right? I mean, it wasn't being insulting at all. But instead, I get, Zinni, it's my story, I break it when I want. In other words, oh, it's kind of like la, 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 and, oh, it's a sunny day, there are no clouds in the sky, the pollen count is X, the humidity is Y, and I'll release the story. Yada, yada, yada. That's not how life works, okay? I'm sorry. Okay, anyway, so that's what I got back. It's like, Zinni, it's my story, I'll break it when I want. Do you understand? And I said, no. Just simple no, okay? And the reason I didn't understand, is the claim that the trusses were with, as it was put, pieces that were installed upside down and in a text to me is very damaging, if that's true. It's very damaging, okay? That's very damaging information. And I really struggle to believe that's happened. Oh, by the way, I know about all that stuff. I really struggle to believe that happened. It's like, really, did they do that? Okay. But I elected to give Jedi Rich and Jedi Joy the Lightower the benefit of the doubt. I always have. I've been, I thought, a credible proponent to them, but, apparently someone thinks otherwise all of a sudden. Not a problem with me. At any rate, I explained, so I basically put in text, I said, you have no idea what you're doing. Because you don't. I mean, information like this is explosive. If it's wrong, they could be sued. Big time, all right? It's very important to get this sort of information right. If you have data, as I do, when I talk about an issue, I have data. And so when I've talked about the stadium hotel tax, it's data-based. If I talk about the finances, it's data-based. It's data and math. That's what I use. Not only that, I've done that work before. I've done calculations for stadium financing. I've done real estate investment analysis. I've done that. Still do it today. So, so I gave them the benefit of the doubt. So anyway, in the middle of the text, it seemed that it changed. I explained they have zero. I said, getting the story wrong is as hurtful as a story being right. Period. In the middle of the text, it seemed to me, I'm reading from my prepared text, that it changed from Jedi Rich, who contacted me earlier today at 12:36, to Jedi Joy. And when she started to say that someone said this, about me, and this was that they shouldn't work with me, okay, and blah, 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 and things that, are typically insulting and I could care less. I've heard a lot worse, and I don't care, okay? Then she said I contacted them, which I didn't, all right? And then she sent, to prove her point, she sends me this old text list where I'd invited them to come on my live stream show. That text was days old. Like, hey, why don't you come on? So I'm thinking, what the heck is going on with her, right? Okay? And she's like, don't contact me again. I'm like, hey, fine. But she has to remember that, my job is to tell a story. And I've got the text that she sent. All right? And that's all I need to do. So it's kind of like, hey, if you're trying to gain our story, you have allies, you don't shoot the people that are on your side. And that's essentially what they've done, or she's done. I don't know where, Richard is. I don't care. Right? I mean, I was about to head to bed. They popped up with this. I was like, whoa, this is explosive stuff. Let's see where it goes. And as you know, and also they said, post this, right? So I'm thinking, okay, fine, I'm not trying to get ahead of them. I think it's too important information if it's true to sit on. It just is. But you got to make sure that you're rapier right with this stuff. Because it would mean if it's true, the whole stadium program is off. If they have to go back and take all those down now, or if they were, fixing them or covering them up. Jedi Rich and Jedi Joy are alleging a cover-up. I repeat, Jedi Rich and Jedi Joy are alleging a cover-up. All right? You got to be careful with stuff like that. I don't care if it's true. You can't just go out there and just say you're going to flame people just because you feel like it. That's why there are standards and practices in this stuff. So at any rate, the whole exchange, as I wrote, the whole exchange is so completely crazy that it could be only, I'm thinking maybe it's an attempt by somebody who paid them, I would guess, to throw me off the trail, which, I can care less, right? There's always some, crackpot effort to say I did something that I didn't do. Like, for example, as I pointed out with News 3 Las Vegas, same thing, all right, where Tommy White, and maybe Tommy White had influenced them, okay? So, because if it's, a union worker like Tommy White, maybe he influenced them. But I know that Tommy White in the previous one, hey, and I could care less. But my point is that why, Tommy White had told Steve Wolford, don't, maybe it came from Zenny. And, it didn't come from me, the steel rumor, it didn't, right? And I'm thinking, gee, I must really scare the heck out of them for them to go to those lengths to try and make me, look like something I'm not. But like I said, I'm used to people who do that. It's unfortunate on their aspect to be that kind of person. And there are better ways to be. And hey, I still love them. At any rate, hopefully for the Raiders, this news is not true. If Jedi Rich and Jedi Joy don't have anyone on the record to say this, they need a worker. They need a worker on the record to say it. Then, if that's ready to go on camera. If they don't have anybody that's ready to go on camera, they're stuck. Because their whole agenda can be turned upside down. It really can be turned upside down. All right. And so anyway, I think I saw a video they already put up about this story. So hey, it's on them. If they don't have anybody to confirm what they're saying, who's a worker, the workers are going to leave them just sort of hanging out there. They've got to have something. They've got to have an email. They've got to have recording, an audio recording of somebody saying this. Okay? They have to have some sort of engineering diagram. They have to have something, some one of those things, okay, to make that stick. What saved them the first time was that Don Webb basically said, hey, yeah, we did have this problem, and it had to be replaced. They'd better hope. All right? And yeah, that's right. As Richard Hike says, someone's going to discredit them. But, you don't go out and burn bridges with people who are on your side in the process. And that's what they've done. They burned a bridge with me for no reason. There was no reason to do that. So, hey, as Whoopi Goldberg said in The Color Purple, make me no never mind. Make me no never mind, okay? So anyway, that's the latest news. And, what I'm going to do is, this is interesting. I think, now, let's take them out of the picture, because the problem right now is that the story is too much about them and not about where we are with the stadium. Regardless, right now, what we're looking at is a situation where, if you take a 30,000-foot look down on what's going on, it's very clear that this schedule was really, really tight. And they're rushing to maybe meet a schedule that's impossible to meet. And they really need to just take a deep breath and say, you know what? get it done by NFL 2020 next year. Okay. And that's okay. And we'll shoot for 2021. Or if this problem really is the problem that Jedi Rich and Jedi Joy allege it to be, and it's proven to be, okay? If somebody else, if John Webb comes up and says, yeah, we do have this major problem, then that sets them back considerably. Considerably. But the question is exactly where we are, and we have to wait, until the canary sings, and the canary is Don Webb. All roads lead to Don Webb. I think that I've said before, and I'll say it again, that I felt that Don was in a situation where there's a lot more he would like to tell, but he doesn't have the standard system of information disclosure where, and I again use Salesforce Transit Center as an example. In the case of Salesforce Transit Center in San Francisco, there was a steel cracking problem, but prior to that, and all through its construction, there were weekly media updates. And if a problem happened, it happened. And I've used this example before, and I'll use it again. When Israel started dropping bombs on Gaza, they had a press conference. When Amadou Diallo got shot during the May March, I believe the New York Police Commission had a press conference that day. The mayor of New York did, all right? So you use the media to address problems head on when they happen. You don't let them linger or leave them to the social media and the blogosphere, to communicate. I am concerned about getting it right. And my point is, there are people out there who they're not so much concerned about getting it right as not getting it out at all or holding it. And that ethic runs completely opposite a social media environment. It just does, okay? So it's important to work with people, respect them, and understand them and give them complete information. Don't play games with them, particularly on a project that is ultimately $3 billion in cost. And that's what we're talking about, okay? So I'm going to put this up now. Stay tuned for tomorrow, and please subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com. Thank you.